CBS.com.
Thanks for joining us for the area's most watched Saturday night news. Northwest News Channel 8, where the news comes first.
The deadly Midwest blizzard gets even worse. Snow falling at the rate of up to an inch an hour caused weather emergencies in 7 states and left travelers snowbound.
Plowing the streets is like trying to dig a hole in a sand pile.
I don't like it, but Mother Nature has to do what she has to do, I guess.
In the south, that meant tornado-force winds and flooding. And the storms which caused all these problems are still on the move.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams. Substituting tonight is Kelly O'Donnell.
Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight with a ferocious winter storm barreling across the Midwest and headed east after leaving 8-foot drifts in northeast Indiana. It has already caused at least a half-dozen deaths nationwide. Thousands of travelers this holiday weekend have had their travel plans disrupted. The huge system causing it extends all the way from the Great Lakes to Florida's Gulf Coast. Our coverage begins with NBC's Ann Thompson in Chicago. Tonight in Chicago, the biggest snowstorm in 2 decades. So far, at least 15 inches on the ground, seemingly coming in waves. Up to 2 more inches on the way. Today, travel came to a standstill at the nation's busiest airport on one of O'Hare's busiest weekends. Stranded travelers gave up. This afternoon, O'Hare's 2 major carriers, American and United, canceled all their flights. High winds and low visibility grounding planes at the gates.
It's just been a day. It's just been a day and a half.
No one was more frustrated than the 600 drivers plowing Chicago's streets, who saw their work ruined by 60-mile-an-hour gusts.
Fastest we could push the snow, it covers right over.
Scenic Lakeshore Drive, closed to all but plows. Working 2 phones, road supervisors moved crews, trying to keep the storm from closing the city down.
It's working in the sense that we don't know of any vital streets that are completely impassable. And that's the only goal we can have.
Chicagoans dashed through the snow to get their own supplies. Snowblowers, one of the hottest items.
I've heard from everyone I've known or ever met who doesn't have a snowblower who wants one. We were sold out by 8:30.
Second choice, bags of salt and shovels.
I'm going to put my 10-year-old daughter to work and my nephew to work, and they're going to get up there and shovel with me.
It was a treacherous day throughout much of the Midwest. Near Racine, Wisconsin, 15 miles south of Milwaukee, whiteout conditions caused a pileup on I-94. 51 cars involved, 10 to 15 people injured, 100 stranded.
It's stuck.
Snow in Des Moines caused driving problems, too. In Indiana, over 50 counties and cities declared snow emergencies. And the forecast is not encouraging. The National Weather Service is calling for another day of blowing and drifting snow here in Chicago. Then the temperature will fall into the lower teens. The wind chill predicted to be 20 to 30 degrees below zero. City officials estimate this storm will cost Chicago over $1 million. A brutally cold and snowy start to the new year. Ann Thompson, NBC News, Chicago.
This is Rick Davis. That Midwest storm had an immediate impact in the east. Atlanta Airport canceled their long-delayed flights for holiday travelers.
I'd like to go home. It's a little snowy in Ohio.
They suggested look for a hotel room because you may not get home tonight.
In Providence, Rhode Island, the same story. Canceled kept popping up on the screens. There were long lines of people with places to go and no way to get there. Forecasts for snow, sleet, and driving rains meant lines at supermarkets in Providence and in Syracuse, New York. People were stocking up. There may not be a chance later. In Richmond, Virginia, where people are just recovering from one storm a few days ago that left many without power, they aren't taking any chances after predictions another storm is on the way. There was an early morning rush for space heaters and generators. In Pennsylvania, a storm front has already moved in, and there's more snow to come. For a man with a shovel, this is just the beginning. Mean weather took more than one form across the country. In Louisiana, thousands of people are without power, and some are without livable homes. Thunderstorms and high winds ripped into the state, overturning trailers, tearing roofs away, and trees down. And this morning in North Palm Beach, Florida, a powerful storm tore into and through 100 homes and businesses. The streets are flooded. These cars are not only used, they are now definitely abused. And so was Interstate 95, closed after it gave way in several spots. Rick Davis, NBC News.
Now to Washington, where political storms have been swirling. Today, in a business-as-usual manner, President Clinton announced plans for billions in new defense spending. More now from NBC's Bob Kerr.
We don't relax our
It was last September at this meeting with top Pentagon leaders that years of growing complaints about military readiness prompted President Clinton to act. The concerns? A likely shortage of pilots and other key personnel because of pay and housing, cuts in training, aging equipment, and dwindling supplies of spare parts. Military experts today welcomed the president's move.
The military force today is on the Titanic, and the leaders realize that they're on the Titanic.
The president proposed the first significant increase in Pentagon spending in 10 years and the largest since the Cold War.
We want our armed forces to remain ready, to deploy rapidly in any crisis. And that is what this effort will assure.
The budget proposal, $12 billion in new military spending in next year's budget, and an additional $100 billion over 6 years. Facing an impeachment trial in the Senate, the president will try in coming days to make news with various policy initiatives on elder care, education, and food safety inspections.
Bill Clinton has to show, if he's going to remain president, that he has the ability to lead, and that the basic test of leadership is that not only do you lead, but people will follow you when you do.
The administration wants to return to the normal business of government, but it looks as though the new year will start, at least, with the old business of impeachment. Bob Kerr, NBC News, at the White House.
There will be new business, too, when Congress gets back to work 4 days from now. NBC's Chip Reed reports from Capitol Hill.
The new Congress that convenes Wednesday, including the freshman class, comes to Washington with a message from voters. Finish up with impeachment and start working on the people's business. The man expected to lead them, incoming Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert, has already begun to set out his agenda. Social Security reform, tax relief, education, and a stronger defense. With a razor-thin Republican majority of only 6 seats, Hastert is reaching out across the aisle.
Those are things that I think are agendas that we can work with on a common goal, on a bipartisan basis. And quite frankly, to heal the wounds of Congress, we need to get to work.
But that could be difficult. Following the tumultuous impeachment debate in the House, those wounds are deep. Even if the Senate dispenses with impeachment quickly, healing could take time.
We're going to have a quick impeachment trial, and then we're going to have gridlock because both parties can't get along and there's bad blood. And there's splits within the party that makes it difficult to build a coalition.
And it's not just personal. The parties are also far apart on policy. On Social Security, Republicans want to start investing in the private sector. Democrats say that's too risky. On education, Republicans want tax breaks for private school tuition. Democrats want more money for teachers and school modernization. And while Republicans put top priority on tax cuts and more defense spending, the Democrats' agenda calls for a Patient's Bill of Rights and Medicare reform. Many of these issues could have to wait until the next election.
I do think it is legitimate where you have these differences in the country to say, good, this is the time for a very important debate, and let's have very important issues for the public to decide in 2000.
There are some optimists who believe that with President Clinton trying to salvage his reputation and with Republicans worried about losing control of Congress in the next election, both sides could determine that it's in their political interest to solve these legislative disagreements now rather than later. Chip Reed, NBC News, the Capitol.
A program note. The coming Senate trial of President Clinton is the primary topic tomorrow on NBC's Meet the Press. Senators Biden, Gorton, Graham, Lieberman, Specter, and Torricelli will all be Tim Russert's guests. When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, Iraq's continued defiance, war on crime being waged in Miami, and later in focus, the way it was and the way it's going to be.
This could be the year you quit smoking. Zyban can help. It's a totally different way to quit. Not a patch, not a gum. Instead, the first pill that is part of a comprehensive program from your doctor can help you quit smoking. Zyban helps reduce your urge to smoke and makes quitting bearable. And now this can get you started with Zyban. A $5 coupon. Call 1-888-977-STOP to get yours. It's important to know there's a risk of seizure associated with Zyban. To reduce the risk, don't take Zyban if you've had an eating or seizure disorder or are being treated with Wellbutrin. Don't take Zyban if you're taking an MAO inhibitor. Side effects may include dry mouth and difficulty sleeping. Zyban won't work for everyone, but this could be the year you become nicotine-free. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you. And break free from nicotine. Break free from smoking.
Sis, I snooped in your medicine cabinet. So? You switched to X-Lax. Yeah, Correctol works with an artificial chemical. X-Lax works with natural senna. Very effectively, too. You tried it. What a find. What a snoop.
Good morning, guaranteed. Wouldn't it be great if winter was more like this instead of like this? Go to Snap.com's Winter Weather Watch for your local forecast. Planning a trip? Get the latest advisories and road conditions. If skiing's your thing, find out about resort accommodations and what the slopes are like. Plus, there are all kinds of winter giveaways and even a place to buy winter sports stuff. We can get you through the winter. You just have to get to the Winter Weather Watch at Snap.com. Right answers right away.
Renewed warnings tonight from Saddam Hussein's government that U.S. and British pilots will be fired on if they continue to patrol no-fly zones over Iraq. Those missions are continuing, and so are the UN sanctions designed to punish Iraq for its defiance. NBC's Donatella Lorch in Baghdad tonight.
Today, a year's worth of food ration cars distributed, ushering in yet another year of sanctions. The Iraqi government hands out free flour, rice, sugar, oil to everyone. But for the Iraqi middle class, the key is entrepreneurship. A car never stops working in Baghdad, and most people moonlight as many jobs as they can juggle. Like Dr. Azad Al-Haldi, trained pediatrician and anesthesiologist, turned bakery owner and metal dealer.
It hurts us, but if you have the ability to go on, and this is the life, you must go on.
2 years ago, Dr. Azad invested $60,000 and opened the Oasis Bakery, some of his favorite customers, the UN weapons inspectors. The challenge was finding imported ingredients in a nation where economic sanctions mean that commercial planes are not even allowed to land.
Not so hard. Not so hard.
Despite sanctions, he boasts of using chocolate from Malaysia and icing color from Chicago.
Where does the butter come from?
From the United Arab Emirates and from Turkey.
The milk and the workers, though, are homegrown.
And that's Mr. Ahmed Al-Obaidi, one of the best pastry makers in the whole world.
The prospect of continued sanctions has only made Dr. Azad more resolute.
I don't think that the sanction will affect the mind of the Iraqi people.
As long as the sanctions continue, people here will find ways to cope and survive. But many wonder what the United States hopes to achieve if the embargo goes on. Donatella Lorch, NBC News, Baghdad.
To Miami now, which begins this new year coping with a turf war involving drug gangs. NBC's Kenley Jones has our report.
The indiscriminate nature of Miami's latest outbreak of gang warfare, one of its worst ever, has police concerned about the safety of those caught in the middle.
Our greatest fear is that an innocent bystander could get hit by this. So we have to stop this and stop it now.
There have been 4 gang-related murders since Christmas, including this one on a street corner Christmas Day. The victim was 30-year-old Mark Couch, a suspected gang member. Police say a power struggle within his gang and disputes over drug profits are the cause of the latest killings. They have launched a crackdown to stop the bloodshed.
And I want the message to be real loud and clear, and that's the criminal element cannot think that they can step into Miami because there's a vacuum and easily take a lucrative trade. They're going to be resisted, and they're not going to be allowed to do that.
Police believe 25-year-old Anthony Fail, a former gang member, is behind the murders. The last time police saw him was when he chased this man into a convenience store and fired at him repeatedly, trying to kill him. Instead, one of his shots hit the daughter of the store owner. She later recovered from her wounds. But it's that kind of random violence which has Miami's citizens nervous and its police on high alert. Kenley Jones, NBC News.
From Houston tonight, word that another of the 7 surviving octuplets is now breathing on her own. Only 2 of the babies remain on ventilators. When NBC Nightly News continues, motoring through the millennium.
There's a new force you can use to help your small business. Introducing Sprint Business Flex, a new communications plan you can adapt to help your business grow. Add toll-free, long-distance, global service, and more. Business Flex adapts along with you. You're in control, so charge ahead and feel free to make the right moves. Plus, with Business Flex, you get a monthly bonus that can grow as you grow, so your success can really pay off. Call 1-888-SPRINT-BIZ. We help your business do more business.
Start something special.
In a car commercial, you expect to see some fine print. Well, here's some of the finest darn print you'll ever see. For a short time, get 0.99 financing on all 99 Oldsmobiles. That means finance savings of up to $3,700 at the Start Something special event at your Oldsmobile dealer now.
New individually wrapped all-days panty liners. Tastefully toteable. New individually wrapped all-days panty liners. Remarkably mobile.
Sunday, the Clinton crisis. Can a bipartisan solution head off a full-blown Senate trial? Plus, a new look at the Clinton marriage. On Meet the Press with Tim Russert.
In focus this evening, America's wheels. We enter this year as a nation with 270 million men, women, and children, and 200 million privately owned cars and trucks. NBC's Soledad O'Brien on how that happened.
Horses and horsepower. The early cars had 3 wheels and top speeds which could be measured in single digits. Peppier, steam-driven models flourished until gasoline engines became reliable. Henry Ford's first car was built in a backyard workshop, seen here at an NBC News broadcast done in 1966.
Ford's first workshop had been his own kitchen. That's where he built the first experimental engine, and he tested it on the sink shelf. In fact, it came to be called the kitchen sink model. And he spent the next 3 years here building an improved engine and the car itself.
There were tinkerers all over the United States in their backyards, hammering and clawing and trying to produce an automobile that would work. The vision of an automobile had been there for 100 years.
Henry Ford's assembly line allowed him to mass-produce a car cheap enough for the masses to buy. In the 19 years the Model T was manufactured, 15 million of the Tin Lizzies were sold. America became a nation on the move, and over the years the ways Americans moved got faster and fancier, and choosing among all the makes and models became an affair of the heart.
In a sense, the vehicles they buy are an extension of who they are, extension of their personality, basically becoming fashion statements.
And improvements to the financial statements of American car makers. A business where many went broke in the early years now measures its profits in the tens of billions. And what of the future? Some of it was on display this week in Los Angeles. This model is by Mitsubishi.
Since the car's name is SST Spider, we chose to mimic the look of a spider's legs in the wheels and also on these billet aluminum roll hoops. The SST has an onboard personal computer that controls the audio system and climate control through a center console-mounted computer mouse. The system also has a satellite navigation system. You can also check email as well as the internet when the vehicle's parked.
This electric car is from Nissan.
The vehicle that we're talking about today is the Hyper Mini concept vehicle. Its compact size is the most significant thing about it. It is only about 9 feet long, so it can be parked in almost half the space of a conventional vehicle.
One lasting truth about cars of the future, designers can only design. Consumers always have the final say.
What's ahead of the Edsel? A permanent place on the American road.
Soledad O'Brien, NBC News, New York.
When we continue, an old problem in the new South Africa.
You may be surprised who's drinking inshore. Help
healthy people. Why? Because to help you stay healthy, you have to eat right. For the times you can't eat nutritious foods like these, drink Ensure. With the essential vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables, calcium like in milk, and protein like in fish. Ensure is a source of complete balanced nutrition to help you stay active and energetic. Drink Ensure. And drink to your health.
I ate Quaker oatmeal for 30 days. It helped me cut my cholesterol by 15 points. How would you describe that, Bob?
A little off the top.
Quaker oatmeal warms you heart and soul.
Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
The party's in there, so why am I out here? Gas. Again.
Maximum strength Phazime has 33% more medicine doctors recommend.
One little pill, and I'm back.
Serious medicine for serious gas. Phazime.
Okay, so you want to buy a car. Great. Luxury, midsize, or compact. New, used, like new, slightly used, or rebuilt. What color? Red, cherry red, blue, green, yellow, canary, yellow, black, white, 2000, Whoa, let's make it easy. Go to snap.com. Check out Snap Autos and find exactly what you're looking for at the price you want. Check virtual showrooms, the latest models, the specs, then compare. New or used, get the best price. Even financing is easy. Snap Autos at snap.com. Right answers right away.
To South Africa now, and concerns that racism from the apartheid era still persists when it comes to some of the country's national sports. Here's NBC's Jim Maceda.
A moment that held the hopes of a whole nation. June 1995. Nelson Mandela, the first South African president elected by majority vote, presents the World Cup trophy to the captain of the country's virtually all-white national rugby team.
We had 65,000 South Africans here today. Tremendous support.
David, we didn't have 60,000 South Africans. We had 43 million South Africans.
The people of the new South Africa cheered together. But 3 years on and 4 years since the official end of apartheid, that rugby team of 30 has only 2 black players. The national cricket team, one of the world's best, has only 1 black. This in a nation where blacks outnumber whites 9-1. Now, embarrassed, the government says enough.
Those 2 teams still look exactly like they did under the old era, and that is where the battle is being fought at the moment.
The government claims it is racism that is keeping blacks off the prime sports fields and is pushing for new laws, a kind of affirmative action, developing black players and protecting them against discrimination at the highest levels of the game.
Non-racial sport will be there. It will be a reality. But if we have to legislate for it, the government will do it, yes.
South African coaches fear that adopting the toughest affirmative action approach will lead to quotas in sports.
The problem at the moment is that so many of the best rugby players happen to be whites, that it would be an absurdity to throw some of those out just to put someone in because they're black.
Millions of government dollars are being poured into local townships to teach young blacks the skills they need to compete one day in sports traditionally dominated by whites. And the optimists point to soccer, a popular game with black youths. Today, 9 of 11 starters on the national soccer team are black. Still, many South Africans believe it will take at least a generation before all sports are a racial mix of the best players. Jim Maceda, NBC News, London.
When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, a history lesson, how slaves hid coded messages in plain sight.
This is Unisom Sleep Gels. It helps you sleep. This is Tylenol PM. It helps you sleep too. They both have the exact same amount of the exact same sleep ingredient. But Tylenol PM has added medicine for headaches, backaches, even fever. Do you have a headache? Backache? Fever? Then why take medicine for it? Take Unisom. It's a safe, non-habit-forming way to fall fast asleep.
A bunch of us here in Lafayette, Colorado, ate Quaker oatmeal for 30 days. It helped reduce my cholesterol 16 points. My bowling average is still a little lower than my cholesterol, but I'm working on it. Quaker oatmeal warms your heart and soul.
Only 2 days left for Buick Swing in the 99. Only 2 short days for numbers that'll make your head spin. Low 0.99 APR financing on the new 99 Buicks. That means finance savings of up to $3,500. And another way to start the new year on a high note, no monthly payments for 99 days. But these numbers are gone after January 4th, so better jump now. Swing into your Buick dealer today.
Out here, I'm in command. So am I supposed to say, slow down, guys, I'm constipated? I don't think so. You try to eat right. Sometimes you can't. Harsh chemical laxatives, they can kick in whenever and wherever. Not an option. So I rely on doctor-recommended Metamucil. It's got 100% natural fiber. Works with my body, gently, which is important to a sensitive guy like myself.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
You're not still driving that same old car. Why watch the same old cable news? The new choice is MSNBC Prime Time, when you really want to know.
Finally this evening, 363 days before the next century, some disclosures about last century. 2 scholars now report that South Carolina slaves crafted secret codes on quilts to coordinate escapes using the Underground Railroad. Tonight, one of those scholars, in his own words, art history professor Raymond Dobard of Howard University.
Quilt patterns, all were part of a signaling device, helping slaves to move towards Ohio and eventually to Canada. One quilt containing several patterns, a sampler type quilt, was used in order to teach the code. The code had to be memorized. There were 10 quilts that were displayed on the fence. Each quilt was made completely of one pattern. Every pattern conveyed to those who were planning to leave the plantation instruction. When all 10 patterns had been displayed, then the fugitive party was ready to depart. They would then literally take these images and meanings with them in their mind. Some of the patterns involved would be, first of all, the monkey wrench. The monkey wrench said, pack whatever tools you need for this journey. Another pattern is log cabin, a special place where the slaves who were escaping were able to rest. The flying geese, this pattern has 4 sets of triangles, and therefore makes it possible for people to move in any direction. Another pattern in the code is crossroad. Cleveland was the main crossroad. People would then go from Cleveland across Lake Erie to Freedom in Canada. The North Star, sometimes called the Evening Star, is traditionally associated with the Underground Railroad because Harriet Tubman and others used the North Star as a means of pointing, of navigating their way towards freedom. We were able